Welcome here to this Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora special from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill in Pompey, you'll find the brew house right there in the rolling hills of central and upstate New York on Sweet Road. And their newest location, you will find Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, right at Sweetheart Corner. So Dan Palladino, I feel like he did this on purpose. You got Sweet Road and Sweetheart Corner for Heritage Hill, and we are proud that they are our exclusive studio partner. With that being said, no stranger to the broadcast, Daunte Bacheyie is back here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. He is a CBA Syracuse 2025 wide receiver. Following his commitment to Syracuse, he joins me to speak on that wide receiver kind of hybrid tight end opportunity he has following his commitment to the Orange. Daunte, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and Daunte, first and foremost, I know I said it to you off the air, but huge congratulations. You know how important it is to me to see Syracuse recruit locally and take these local student athletes and really make it a point to give you all opportunities. So the fact that we have a coaching staff that is now doing that at Syracuse for the football program means a lot to me. And
Yeah.
it means that we get to keep some of these awesomely talented people home like yourself. So first and foremost,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Daunte, you're so tall, you're going off the screen here. So I mean, you're you're six
Yeah,
foot
yeah.
five.
I gotta move back.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm giving you a compliment here. 6'5" and playing wide receiver slash tight end. I mean, you can't teach 6'5". 6'5" is just something that, God gives you the opportunity to be. So what can you say
hmm
about being one of these big guys out here in central and upstate New York? I hear on the recruiting trail over the years, there's no big guys, there's no height in central New York, and I think that that's insane because where you live doesn't determine your genetics, and here you are
Yeah.
standing at 6'5". So what can you say about having that height that is all too important at wide receiver
Mhm.
as well as tight end?
It's obviously a blessing to be this tall, but comes with a lot of positives and negatives, like not being able to fit in certain cars, like back seats or stuff like that. But there's also things like I get compliments all the time for how tall I am. Everyone asks me if I play basketball, and then I have to tell them I play football. And they're like, "What position?" I'll either say receiver or tight end.
Yeah, and for you, do you have a preference between wide receiver and tight end?
I used to, but not anymore. I used to not dislike blocking, but now I have no problem. I actually enjoy it a lot more than I used to at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, because when you look at wide receiver, obviously there's some wide receivers that block going down the field, right? They set up
hmm
opportunities. Some receivers believe in it, some don't. And as a receiver, you should be blocking down the field to help out your teammates if you're not getting the ball. But as a tight end, it's part of the job. You're an
Yeah.
extension of the offensive line. So you said you didn't like blocking before, but you like it now. When was
hmm
that time change for you? What the crossroads of when you started to like it? When did that happen? And why do you like blocking?
I think I started to like it because I realized that I'm definitely gonna be made into a tight end, and I'm gonna have to get used to blocking. So I was like, I might as well just get used to it now, so I don't hate it later. But I don't have a problem with it anymore. I like blocking. I like helping out my teammates.
When did that transition come? When did you start to like blocking?
Definitely near the end of the season. I wouldn't say playoffs. It was maybe a couple, one or two games before playoffs, but I think my blocking definitely stepped up from that time, though, when I actually knew I had to do it and I tried a lot harder.
Now, you said they're going to make you into a tight end. You and I were talking
hmm
off the air that Syracuse has told you maybe you're playing wide receiver, maybe you're playing a tight end, maybe you're playing this hybrid. Bring me more into the conversation of the coaching staff. Who did you talk to, and what did they specifically say about how they envision you in the Syracuse offense?
I talked to all the coaches on the offensive, majority of the coaches on the offensive side, like Coach Nixon. Obviously, I talked to Coach Fran. I talked to Coach Johnson and Coach DT because they both help out with the tight ends. And Coach Johnson is the tight ends coach at Syracuse. But they say they see me as like a Oronde Gatson. They're calling me OG 2.0 right now because they say I look like him and I'm built like him, and they said they're gonna just have me gain weight how they had him gain weight, and they see me in a similar role as him.
So they see you as OG 2.0. Do you like that? Dislike the comparison to Aronde Gadsden the second?
Obviously, I like the comparison to him because he's a great player, but I do want to make a name for myself. I don't want to always be known as OG 2.0. I do want to make my own name, but yeah, it's a great comparison.
Have you gotten to spend any time with Aronde Gadsden the second? Have you gotten to talk with him or have any connection to him so far?
I talked to him, I think one time at before the spring game was one of the practices, but I haven't really talked to him after because I've just been meeting with the coaches, and I had dinner with Fran like a week ago. I've just been talking with the coaches recently.
So bring me into dinner with new Syracuse Orange head football coach Fran Brown. Where did you go? What was it like? What was the conversation about?
We actually went to the players' lounge. We just ate there because it was the team dinner. So I ate with some of the players there. It was great food. It was really good food. Then we went over to the indoor facility and watched what's the name? The Salt City Renegades, the 12U team. They were practicing. We got to watch that. He helped out coaching a little there, and then I was talking to like Coach Hales and a couple other coaches there.
So to have that one-on-one time with Fran, what does that say about him? What does that mean to you that the head coach had dinner with you, broke bread with you, and then spent some time with you beyond that?
It's a great feeling to show that it shows that he actually cares, and that he just wasn't trying to just get me to commit just because I was one of the hometown kids. He shows that he actually cares, and he actually like wants to build a relationship with me and the other CBA students.
And here with Daunte Bacheyie in this wake up call spotlight on the 2025 CBA Syracuse wide receiver slash tight end. Daunte, you and I have talked about this before. I've spoken with your teammates about it. I've spoken with guys at CBA beforehand that it's really important to me that people saw the talent here in Central and Upstate New York in any sport, including in
Hmm.
football. And not only people, not only institutions, but that the school down the street that takes maybe 10 minutes on a tricycle to get to. We've spent so many years not seeing Syracuse recruit locally. I
Yeah.
banged the drum about it. I've defended all of you student athletes, whatever sport, whatever school, whatever, what anything. And
Hmm.
when Fran Brown came in, I said to myself, the things that are most important to me, one of those top things is that he recruits locally. We've seen them offer locally, and now we've seen 3 commitments from CBA Syracuse for 2025 alone. We have
Hmm.
seen the commitment of you. We have
Hmm.
seen the commitment of offensive lineman, offensive tackle Matt Hahn. We have seen wide receiver and defensive back Darian Williams. What can you say about a coach that is finally looking at Syracuse, looking at Central New York, looking at Upstate New York? Syracuse, for such a long time, kind of turned their shoulder to
Hmm.
CBA and CNS and Liverpool and West Jenny and Maine Endwell and Union Endicott and so on and so forth. What does it mean to you to see a coach that hasn't even coached a game yet and he's already reaching out to the local community?
It's a great feeling because obviously, as you know, I was the only one around here to really have an offer from Syracuse, and I think the fact that he came in, offered Matt Hong first, Darian Cartier from CNS, and then me, and then we all committed, and we're all from the same place, so we all have the same connections and stuff like that. Obviously, we know Syracuse and what's around here, so it's a great feeling to be able to play and know people going into college that you've been friends with and known for my high school and some of my life.
And Daunte, you got offers from Pittsburgh, you got offers from Boston College. In the years where Syracuse has not recruited locally, we've seen a lot of guys go to Pitt, and we've seen a lot of
Hmm.
guys go to BC. We have seen CBA Syracuse alum go to Pitt. One of the guys being in the NFL right now, Servassier Dennis. We have seen CBA guys go to Boston College, Noah Jordan Williams, John Phillips, and so on and so forth. So we have seen this connection, and we have seen that Pittsburgh and BC recruited an area that Syracuse didn't even touch, which was right in their backyard. You got offers
Hmm.
from BC and Pitt, so you're actually part of that movement that not only is Syracuse recruiting locally, but you were one of the student athletes in Syracuse, New York, to go to Syracuse instead of Pitt or BC, which I think may have happened if more of those CBA kids and kids in the community got offers from Syracuse when they were getting them from Pitt and BC. So,
Hmm.
what does it mean to you to be a part of that history, to know that BC has respected CBA, Pitt's respected CBA, but now that Syracuse is starting to do it, the fact that you had a choice of all three, what does it mean to you for choosing Syracuse? And I know you can't speak for somebody else, but do you think
Yeah.
that if Syracuse had reached out to more of these CBA guys in the past, that maybe they would have went to the Orange instead of to the Eagles or the Panthers?
I think, like speaking on that, I think it's whatever this like however you think the school fits for you and whatever you think this school is the best fit for you. But it's a great feeling being able to know that I can go home and see my family whenever I want. I can still go see my mom on Christmas and Thanksgiving. See my stepdad, see my sister, and they can all come to my games. So that's also a great feeling. Another perk of staying home. But yeah, I don't think that I can really speak for others, and obviously, I would tell them to come to Syracuse, but it's whatever they think is the best fit for them.
And knowing the love that you got from Pitt, from BC, from Fordham, from University at Buffalo, just even though you're choosing Syracuse, just what you want to say to those schools, because like I said, Pitt has had a long-standing bridge with CBA, Syracuse, and BC has as well. So these are two institutions that see the value and have continued to see the value that Syracuse is now starting to see. So what do you want to say to those schools, even the ones that you didn't choose, just what it means to you that they saw your value and that
Hmm.
they make it a point to come to CBA Syracuse? In the case of BC and Pitt, they come all the time.
Yeah, I thanked all the coaches after I committed, all the coaches that kept in contact with me, all the coaches that recruited me, all the coaches that gave me the opportunities that I had. I did thank them for that because I think it's an honor to be able to even receive a Power Five offer and to get multiple and be able to be a part of the select few from CBA that get the opportunity to go to the Pitt Panthers, the Eagles, and Syracuse. I think it's a great feeling.
Daunte Bacheyie here with me from CBA Syracuse, coming off of a state title and looking for another one. He's a 2025 wide receiver and tight end. What do you think that did for recruiting at CBA? I know last year there was over 40 schools that came
Mhm.
to visit CBA Syracuse, and not all those schools were close. Some of them were a 10-hour drive at least when we talk about the coastal Carolinas of the world. Do you believe that winning a state title, the deeper you went in the tournament, the deeper you went playing high school football last season, do you think that that helped out the school even more? That having a state title from last year, do you think that not just for you, but for your teammates, helped the school to get recruited more and get more eyes on the institution?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of the main reasons that we did get the opportunities that we did. Because I don't know if you know this, but Fran did come to the state championship game because that
Yeah.
was like the first or second day he actually was in Syracuse.
Yeah.
So I saw him there. I didn't get to talk to him at that game, but I did
Hmm.
talk to him like a couple weeks after. Like it was just like a, hey, I saw you at the game. You did a great job and stuff like that. But yes, I do think that winning the state championship helped a lot with a lot of the other players recruiting at CBA.
And Daunte, when you talk about winning a state title, it doesn't come from one person. It comes from
Hmm.
a collective. What do you want to say about your head coach, Casey Brown, what he's taught you, and what he means to this program in his effort to make sure that you're taking care of the classroom, taking care of the football field, taking care of yourself above all? What do you want to say about Casey Brown?
He's a great coach. He's always looking out for everyone's best interests. He's always pushing you. He's always making you work harder. He may yell a lot, and we all know that we in the off season when it's not when we can joke around a little bit with him. He we make fun of how much he yells at us, but he does it with good intentions. He's always trying to make us better.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to push us to be better football players and better men off the field.
You know, him and I have built a strong friendship as we're talking here with Daunte Bacheyie out of CBA Syracuse here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Casey and I have built a relationship over many years, and he talks to me all the time about the want to build good men, the want to build good fathers and husbands and people that are going to be good in the community. That, yes, winning is great and getting to championships and winning those championships is great, but above all things, he wants you to be set for life and to be able to take care of yourselves and to take care of other people. What does that mean to you that your head coach is more concerned with who you become as a human being and not just how many touchdowns you have or how many points you score?
I think that that's a major thing with coaching in high school because if you don't have a coach like that, you don't know how you can uh, turn out because you could be a player that just thinks that everything's about football, but at some point you have to football ends no matter how far you make it in the NFL or to college or even if you stop playing in high school, you at some point you have to stop playing football and then you have to do something else. Whether that's if you don't need to work, if you are were that successful, that's great. But he's teaching us how to be good fathers, good men, good husbands in the future, and that he's teaching us how to just be grown ups and be responsible, stuff like that. He's always telling us to keep the locker room clean, show up to practice on time, and stay in dress code in school.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talk about all the time is the handshake, right? That your coaching staff teaches you how to address people, how to address recruits, how to address your future, how to physically dress, and then how to shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. How far has that gone for you? A simple shake of a hand, eye contact, and making sure that you are dressed to essentially, dress to showcase yourself, dress to show respect for the position that you're looking to go to, how those things matter to you and what that's done for you, the handshake, the eye contact, and making sure that you're dressed nicely, that you're clean, that you took your shower, little things that people should know how to do, but so many
Mhm.
times these days people don't do. How important has it been for the coaching staff to teach you those things?
It's great not just for me, but for all the other kids at CBA, all the seventh and eighth graders that they work out with us in the off season. All the football players, and it doesn't matter the grade at CBA, we all work out in the same weight room, and we all if one person does something wrong, he doesn't call him out in practice. He just has everyone take a knee and he talks to everyone about and just says, I don't want to hear of a problem like this again or I don't want anyone to do this again. And I think that's a major thing, not just for us older kids, but for the underclassmen and the seventh and eighth graders.
Yeah, it's huge. And your offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach that you spent a lot of time with, Bruce Williams, he has made it such a point to get your film out there, to get your statistics out there, to tell the world who so many different players are. He's not on one guy, he's not on two guys. He's constantly putting the info out. What can you say about what Bruce has done to get the best out of you as a wide receiver and as a tight end, and what it means to you that he spends so much time outside of the time that he's at practice or in film study, that he's spending all this other time breaking down film, getting your film out there, getting your measurements out there, getting your information out there, just what that means to you when it comes to Bruce Williams?
He's a one of a kind coach in my opinion because I don't think there's a lot of coaches out there that put in that much extra work outside of just the scheduled practices and the stuff like that. Because the workouts and the stuff like that, that's like all optional stuff. Because he doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to be helping us get recruited. He doesn't have to always help us and always tell us what to say and give us like outlines of what to post on Twitter and how to put the right stuff in your film to help get recruited and not just all like every single catch in the season and your highlight reel. You want to put like he tells us you want to put blocking, like plays when you don't get the ball and how you act, how even if you were open, you have to keep a good. You can't be like complaining and because that happened to me one time. I can't even lie, that did happen to me, and I got yelled at, and I never did it again. But I think that's one thing that he does, and I'm very thankful for, is how much extra time he puts in.
Yeah, it's huge. And Daunte, when it comes to your quarterback, what do you want to say about, who you've worked with and, to call them out by name, what it means to you? I know Porter Matt has, had time here recently, but just what you want to say about the quarterback situation going into this season, what Porter Matt meant to you coming out of this past season when you won a state title, because I think that, how a receiver and a tight end views their quarterback is important to see what that relationship is like.
Yeah, Porter was a great quarterback last year. He did a lot of great things. Even a lot of the people didn't believe in him because of what happened 2 years ago, but that wasn't his fault. That was his first game. That was his first time being put in pressure like that. But I think he did a great job this year. He was a great quarterback. I wouldn't ask for a different quarterback. And this year, Braden, he's really good. He's got a good arm. He's got great accuracy, and if he needs to run, he can definitely run.
And for you, Daunte, you make the decision on Syracuse. Bring us into the timetable. When did Syracuse offer? When did you say yes? I know you visited. It's right down the street. So bring us into everything that happened from visit to commit, or visit, offer, commitment, how this all came about and how quickly they all came together.
Yeah, so the first time I came down to the practice, it was one of the spring practices. I came down, it was sometime early March. Then I talked with Fran after the practice. He was like, I didn't expect you to be this big in person. It was stuff like that. He was talking to me. He was like, in a couple years, do you think you could get up to 225? I was like, yes, definitely. And then we talked a little bit. He talked to my parents, and then that was that. And then he texted me and he was like, "Can you come up this Saturday?" Because I came up. It was Wednesday. It was a Wednesday practice, and he was like, "Can you come back this Saturday for the scrimmage?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So after the scrimmage, that's when Syracuse the new coaching staff offered me, and that was a great day, a great feeling. I thanked him and all the coaches, and I'm still thankful for this opportunity. But yeah, he offered me. He talked to my parents. I was very thankful. They definitely jumped to the top of my list at that point. And then I what happened after that? Oh yeah. So there was the spring game. That was the spring game, and then he talked to me at the game. He was like, because it was me, Matt, and Darren. We were all talking. He was like, "You guys," he was joking. He was like, "You guys convinced him to commit yet?" Then we all laughed. And then after this spring game, I talked to him. And then 2 days later, I had a meeting. We had a meeting in the morning about me and where they saw me and how they saw me as a player, as a student, and like stuff like academic wise, all of that. And then 3 days later was I had another meeting with him, and that's when I committed.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, from being there, from being around them, and then taking that time, spending some time, and then eventually committing. You said when you got the offer that they shot to the top of the list. I've thought that when it comes to Central and Upstate New York kids, you grow up watching Syracuse, right?
Hmm.
And you grow up going to the Dome, and you wear orange, and you're surrounded by it. So for you, when Syracuse offered, and like you said, they shoot to the top of the list, was this always a dream? Is there truth to the fact that kids in this community, that once they see the hometown school offer, that whether they've thought about staying at home or not, that when you get an offer from the school that you've watched all your life, that it just sticks out to you? I mean, you know how Darian responded, you know how Cartier from CNS, as well as Matt Hahn and yourself. When Syracuse offers a kid from Central and Upstate New York, do you feel like that just automatically puts a smile on the face of the people here?
Oh yeah, definitely. From the time that I got reoffered by them, all my parents' friends, all the people I know that live here were like, "Are you gonna go there? Are you gonna go there? Have you chose yet?" I was like, "No, not yet, not yet." And then when I did commit, everyone was so happy. They were like, "We gotta buy season tickets now." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." In like 2 years when I get there, and then yeah, that's it's just a great feeling. I don't think that it's like for me, I don't think it was the fact that it was a hometown team. I really think this coaching staff, I really like every single coach on this coaching staff. I think they're all great humans. They don't just, I think they make it more than football. It's not just all about football with them. They their big thing is teaching us how to be better men too. That was another thing. And they're really Coach Fran Brown had a great talk with my parents about like how his faith and football go together.
What did your parents remember from that? What did he say about his faith in football and how that connects to one another?
He was just saying that it's like it's faith, family, and academics all come before football. And he said the main things were just like I'm gonna make Dante a better man and a better football player if he decides to come here. And I think that's what sold my parents and sold me too.
For you here with Daunte Bacheyie on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill studios, speaking with the 2025 wide receiver tight end out of CBA Syracuse who has committed to the Syracuse Orange. Like you said, you're in a unique situation because you were offered by the previous staff. And typically, we didn't see previous staffs at Syracuse in the last many offer kids in the community. So being a
Mhm.
part of Dino Babers and his staff's offerings, and then have Fran and his staff offer, what has that meant to your story that you were one of the few that Dino's staff actually offered, and then you're one of the one, and then you got to be in a very small area because so many were looked over in these last few years. Dino and his staff offer you, Fran and his staff reoffer you. So you're coming from a unique perspective. What has that meant to you that you were part of a very, very tiny, almost no being offered when it came? It was you and Sire Torrance, really. And now to
Mhm.
see that you were reoffered by Fran Brown, just what it means to be offered by both of the coaching staffs.
I'm very grateful for the opportunities that both of the coaching staffs gave me because you know how it goes when a new coaching staff comes and you don't keep the offer, you have to earn it again. And it's definitely a great feeling to be able to have the opportunity to go to Syracuse, and it's a great feeling. I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I was given by both coaching staffs.
Have you talked to Sire Torrance about how you look forward to going up against him with him being at Boston College and maybe be on that defensive
Yeah,
backside. You're a wide receiver. You might literally be put against each other one on one.
yeah,
So,
no,
what are your thoughts?
yeah. That's that's definitely been the talk at lunch a couple times because if he does get put at Jack or nickel, where I think that's where they have him at, he would be lined up against me at tight end. So that has been a talk, but it's all been friendly competition. We don't really make it too serious, but yeah, we've talked about it a little bit.
And Daunte, before I let you go, Matt Hahn, offensive tackle from CBA, coming in with you in 2025, and Darian Williams, wide receiver DB, also coming in with you in 2025. Three CBA guys so far, and one from CNS, offensive tackle Cartier Shepard. Bring me
Hmm.
into knowing that you're going to not only be staying in the community, but doing it with your teammates, Matt Hahn and Darian Williams, and then also being able to be on the same team as Cartier Shepard. And we know how good CNS has been in CBA games. So just what that's
Hmm.
been to now have somebody from your rivalry that's going to be there and to be able to also move forward with a couple of your teammates and all four of you going to Syracuse.
Yeah, it's obviously we've obviously talked about the rivalry between us because at the spring game we all talked with him. We all were like, he was like, we're beating y'all this year, right? We were all just joking around, talking about how football is and how what we're doing. But yeah, it's obviously a great feeling because I know I'm still gonna have friends that I know in college, and I'm obviously gonna make more. But it's obviously a great feeling knowing that I have one of my best friends with me in college.
And I know the fans are going to ask this. You're committed. How
Hmm.
committed are you? Is it, I'm done. I'm not talking to any other coaches. I'm telling them thank you so much, but I've already made my decision. How committed, how realistic is it that Daunte Bacheyie is going to be wearing orange and blue in a year?
It's very realistic. I'm definitely I'm thankful for all the opportunities that other coaches from other schools have given me, but I'm definitely set. I'm definitely gonna be an orange.
So let's play some rapid fire. We've done it before, Daunte. You get to put me on the hot seat. I get to do this as well inside of the Heritage Hill Studios on Wake Up Call with
Hmm.
Dan Tortora with the future of Syracuse football. Daunte, what's your first question?
My first question is, what is your favorite snack, favorite late night snack?
I try to be healthy.
Hmm.
So my late night snack, and I do it like almost like a lot of nights recently, is that I get the organic fruit strips that have like the
Hmm.
real fruit in them, and I get the mixed berry one. So when I want something, when I want a piece of candy or a candy bar or something like that, I go and take the fruit strip instead, have that, and then I go to bed.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like those. Are they the ones from Wegmans?
I get the ones from Aldi's. They're actually really good.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do like the fruit strips. They're very good. Yeah, I do like those.
Okay, so let's go along those lines. What's the one snack that you would get rid of? If you could go back in history and you could erase something, what is the one snack that you're just like, I wish they just never created this?
Like a snack or does a candy count?
Yeah, anything.
I'd have to say probably like Twizzlers. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't. They're kind of plain. I don't. They're just like gummies that don't taste like anything. I
Yeah.
don't. I think they're overrated.
All right. So no NIL deals with Twizzler. So
Yeah.
what's fair enough. What's your next one for me?
Um. What was your favorite school growing up? Did you grow up in Syracuse?
I did. Yeah, born and raised on the north side. So my favorite school, Syracuse, and
Yeah.
still is. So as a broadcaster, I'm
Hmm.
impartial. As a broadcaster, I pick each game as it comes, and do my predictions with impartiality. But I
Hmm.
do very much love the current players, the future players, the alumni, and they can all speak to that. So, yeah, Syracuse is home, and, there's nothing like it. I work very hard because I went away from the 4-letter and 3-letter names that I was working with and working for, and I started my own company. And when Syracuse gave me a credential, I was the only self-created, self-sustaining company that wasn't prior existing, that was internet based, that got a credential. So me getting a credential to Syracuse University events actually was them opening their doors to the internet and making an example through me. So I got to actually be a part of history at Syracuse, which means a lot to a kid that grew up going to the Dome with my parents and always feeling like it was larger than life.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So Daunte, my question to you is, will you, when you come to Syracuse, since you and I know each other now, we continue to get to know each other, and we'll obviously get to know each other more when you're at Syracuse, will you promise me at one time in your 3 to 5 years on campus that you will do, when you get into the end zone, that you'll do this for me? Because my number's 21. So if and when you score a touchdown, will you promise me now that you'll do this one time?
Yeah, I promise. I definitely will.
All right. I'm going to be looking out for that day, man. Definitely going to
I
have to
will.
interview you after the fact to give you a hug after that. Be like, I saw that. They're like, he made like a 2-1, but he's wearing number 5. It's so weird. All right.
Yeah,
I got your word, man. You're going to have to keep it now.
I will.
All right. What's your last question for me?
Let me think. What was your least favorite? No, actually, what was your favorite class or favorite teacher?
Well, I went to CBA,
Hmm.
and I would say that Mrs. Mannion's intro to business class, when I got to, you could do anything you wanted to do, and I chose to be the Jacksonville Jaguars general manager and state why I could do it.
Yeah.
So I love that class. That, I think, helped prepare me for running my business. I think that there was things in that class that I can probably look back on today and appreciate. I would say Mr. Sacco pushed me in geography.
Hmm.
Miss Goulet, I mean, that woman saved my life a million times over, and just the type of human being she is. And she was one of my religion teachers. And Mr. Benware for English, for learning from him. And when my first team that I ever saw win a championship in my lifetime, when I was a fan of them, was back in
Hmm.
2001 when the Arizona Diamondbacks won. And Mr. Benware's a Yankee fan. So I had a bunch of people making fun of me. And when the Diamondbacks won, people mysteriously forgot that I was a Diamondback fan. And he came up to me in the lunch line, and there was a bunch of guys there. And he said, "Gentlemen, if you'd excuse me for a minute, can you all just let me get through here?" He's like, "I want to put my hand." He said, Can you all just give me a minute here?" He put his hand out, and he said, "I want to shake I want to shake the hand of a man who kept his word. And you said the Diamondbacks were going to win, and you were right. So I want to shake your hand, and I want to let you know that I respect the fact that you stood by your team, even though it was against his Yankees." He said, "I want to shake the hand of a man who stood by what he said." And I'll never forget that. And I loved that we did a mock court kind of thing in his class where I got to be a judge for one of the books we were
Hmm.
reading. So we did like a trial, and I've never forgotten that. So yeah, I would probably say there's a bunch of moments that I didn't forget. And Mr. Roach playing me in one-on-one basketball in the gym with his full suit and dress shoes on was really cool. So
Yeah, I love Miss Mannion. She's one of my favorite teachers right now.
yeah, she's the. What do you have her for?
English.
Okay, yeah, Miss Mannion's one of the best.
Hmm.
So my
I like her.
Yeah, shout out Mrs. Mannion. And my last question for you, Daunte, is if you could turn into any Avengers character,
Hmm.
what Avenger would you be and why?
Um, I think I would want to be Iron Man just because the suits. I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I think my favorite growing up was the Black Panther, but I think it would be cool to have all those different suits and all that, all them little gadgets that he has.
And it's funny because my goatee and my shirt says I am Iron Man. So,
Oh, I didn't even realize
yeah.
that.
Yeah, the shirt has the actual, like the crest here, but throughout the whole thing it says I am Iron Man.
I
So,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, and my oldest niece and nephew, a shout out to Emily and Carter. They call me Tony, and they're in my phone as Friday and Jarvis because of my goatee. They always say that their uncle is like Iron Man, so they call me Tony all the time.
That's really that's funny.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So Daunte Bacheyie here, committed to Syracuse, got another season with CBA Syracuse, looking to make some more history. The 2025 wide receiver and tight end staying at home and heading to the Orange to make some new history after he finishes up, hopefully making a wonderful, memorable season once again at CBA. Daunte, as always, thank you to you, thank you to your
Yeah.
family, and for your time as always for being a part of the show. I appreciate it, and selfishly, I'm happy that you're hanging around.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course, man.